The stories from our distant past are truly vast. They speak of heroes, gods, and epic journeys. Among these tales, some of the most curious are about human lifespans. The Bible tells us of people who lived for almost a millennium. Consider Adam, the first man. The scriptures say he lived for 930 years. Then there is Noah, the man who built the ark. He is said to have lived for 950 years. These numbers are staggering to us today. They seem more like fiction than fact. They challenge our understanding of what it means to be human and what our bodies are capable of. The most famous long-lived person from these ancient texts is Methuselah. His name has become a symbol for old age itself. According to the book of Genesis, Methuselah lived for 969 years. Imagine witnessing nearly 1,000 years of history. You would see empires rise and fall. You would see the world change in ways we can barely imagine. These stories from a single ancient book paint a picture of a very different time. A time when the human lifespan was not measured in decades but in many, many centuries. This makes us wonder what was different back then. When we look at our world today, the contrast is stark. The average human lifespan across the globe is around 73 years. In the most developed countries, it might push into the low 80s. This is a great achievement of modern medicine and science. We have come a long way from the past, where life was often much shorter due to disease and hardship. Yet, even with all our progress, a 900-year lifespan is completely beyond our reach. It sounds like a fairy tale. The difference between our 80 years and their supposed 900 years is enormous. This gap makes us question the old stories. Are they meant to be taken literally, or are they myths designed to teach us something else? Perhaps the numbers had a symbolic meaning that we no longer understand. Maybe they represented a special connection to the divine or a golden age of humanity. The stories present a puzzle. They offer a vision of human potential that seems impossible by our modern standards. Are these just tales, or are they echoes of a forgotten reality? The universe is full of mysteries, and this is one that lies deep within our own history. The stories of incredibly long lives are not just found in one book. They are not unique to one culture. When we look around the world, we find similar tales in many ancient civilizations. This is a very interesting pattern. It suggests that this idea was widespread. Before the biblical accounts, the ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia created something called the Sumerian King List. This text lists the rulers of Sumer, and it claims that the earliest kings lived for unbelievably long periods. We are talking about reigns that lasted for tens of thousands of years. For example, the list says that a king named Alulim ruled for 28,800 years. Another king, Alalngar, supposedly ruled for 36,000 years. These numbers are even more extreme than the ones in the Bible. After a great flood, which is another common theme in ancient stories, the lifespans of the kings become much shorter. They are still very long, but they are closer to hundreds of years instead of thousands. This pattern of decreasing lifespans is a common thread. It suggests a belief in a distant golden age where humanity was stronger and lived longer, a time closer to the gods. We can travel from Mesopotamia to ancient China and find similar ideas. Chinese legends speak of wise emperors and sages who lived for centuries. The Yellow Emperor, a legendary figure, is said to have lived for over 100 years in a time when that was rare. But other stories speak of figures like Pengzu. He was a Taoist sage who supposedly lived for over 800 years. His long life was attributed to his diet and his understanding of nature. In ancient India, the Hindu scriptures, or Puranas, talk about different ages of the world called yugas. In the first and most pure age, humans were said to live for 100,000 years. As each age passed, the texts say, human spirituality and lifespan decreased. This global pattern is fascinating. From the Middle East to East Asia, from ancient texts to oral traditions, we hear the same thing. Humans once lived much longer than they do now. The details are different, but the core idea is the same. It's easy to dismiss one story as a myth. But when so many different cultures separated by vast distances tell similar tales, it makes you pause. It makes you wonder if there is a shared memory or a common source for these extraordinary claims. To understand if a 900-year life is possible, we must look at biology. We have to explore what modern science tells us about why we age. Our bodies are made of trillions of cells. These cells are constantly dividing to repair damage and create new tissue. Think of it like making a copy of a copy. Every time a cell divides, it has to copy its DNA, which is the instruction manual for life. This process is incredibly complex. And just like making a copy of a copy, it is not always perfect. Small errors can build up over time, leading to the signs of aging. At the heart of this process are tiny structures called telomeres. You can think of them as protective caps at the end of our chromosomes which hold our DNA. Imagine the plastic tips on your shoelaces. Those tips stop the laces from fraying. Telomeres do the same thing for our DNA. Every time a cell divides, the telomeres get a little bit shorter. Over a lifetime of cell divisions, these telomeres become so short that they can no longer protect the DNA. The cell stops dividing or dies. This shortening of telomeres is like a biological clock, ticking down with every cell division. So, could something have been different in the ancient world? Some theories suggest that the Earth's environment was once very different. Perhaps the atmosphere had a higher concentration of oxygen. Some speculate that a water vapor canopy surrounded the planet, filtering out harmful solar radiation. This could have protected DNA from damage and slowed the aging process. Maybe the food was more nutritious, free from the pollutants and chemicals we see today. A world with less environmental stress could, in theory, allow our bodies to function more efficiently for a longer time. These ideas are speculative, of course. We don't have a time machine to go back and measure the oxygen levels or check for a vapor canopy, but they are interesting thought experiments. They force us to consider how our environment shapes our biology. What if our modern lifespan is not the natural human default? What if it is simply the result of our current planetary conditions? The science of aging points to telomeres and cell division as the mechanism, but the rate of that aging might be influenced by the world around us in ways we are only beginning to understand. As we look to the future, scientists are not just accepting our current lifespan. They are actively trying to extend it. This field of research is one of the most exciting in modern biology. Scientists are exploring ways to slow down or even reverse the aging process. One major area of focus is, you guessed it, telomeres. Researchers are studying an enzyme called telomerase. Its job is to rebuild and lengthen telomeres. In a lab, activating this enzyme can make old cells behave like young cells again. Imagine a therapy that could rewind our cellular clocks. Another exciting frontier is gene therapy. Scientists have identified specific genes that seem to control parts of the aging process. By editing these genes, they have successfully extended the lifespans of simple organisms like worms and mice in the laboratory. While this is a long way from being used in humans, it shows that lifespan is not entirely fixed. It is a biological process, and like any other process, it can potentially be influenced and changed. We are standing at the beginning of an era where we might gain control over our own biology in ways that were once pure science fiction. This brings us back to the ancient stories. Are they simply myths? Are they allegories about a lost golden age meant to inspire us? Or could they be a distorted memory of a real biological possibility? Perhaps a time when human genetics or the Earth's environment allowed for a much longer, healthier life. We may never know for sure. The physical evidence from so long ago is lost to time. All we have are these persistent stories, echoed across cultures and millennia, that whisper of a different human experience. They are a mystery written in the first pages of our history. In the end, we are left with a profound question. The universe has shown us time and again that what seems impossible today can be tomorrow's reality. Perhaps the tales of Methuselah and the Sumerian kings are not just myths. Maybe they are a challenge, a clue, hidden in our oldest stories, pointing to a secret locked deep within our own DNA. They encourage us to remain curious, to keep exploring the limits of human potential, and to ask, what are we truly capable of? The quest to understand our past may be the key to unlocking a much longer future.